MacVoices at CES 2025. MacVoices is at CES in Las Vegas. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's really exciting always to see a new exhibitor at CES, but it's also an exhibitor who are some old friends of ours. MacPaw is here for the very first time at CES, and Garrett's going to tell us why. Garrett, it's great to see you.
It's really nice to see you too. Thanks for stopping by.
Well, thank you for having us, but what are you doing at CES? This is your first time here.
Yes, this is MacPaw's first time here. We get really excited about these types of shows and conferences because it gives us an opportunity to actually talk directly to our consumers. It feels like we don't always get that opportunity. Like, we're a global company. MacPaw is based in Ukraine. We just opened our first office in Boston only a year ago. But we know that our consumers are around the world, and a conference like this is only validating that. Like, we've had people come up to us and speak to us from all over, obviously from the US, but also from different countries across Asia, South America. And it's really cool to be able to speak to them in person and have an opportunity to be like, hey, like, you're our customer and you're part of this family, this ecosystem too. And to see people's like reactions to how excited they are to see things like CleanMyMac, like SetApp, all these products that they're using on a daily basis, and watching kind of their eyes light up and be like, oh wow, this is, you guys are real, you guys exist, you're people. So it's
You're people, I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You actually are a real person.
Yeah. Not just like robots behind a screen, like we're people providing products, yeah.
Well, our audience is very familiar. We've talked about SetApp a million times. It's an essential as far as we're concerned. CleanMyMac is sort of in the same boat. It's one of those things that we trust our computers to take care of and maintain.
Right.
And that speaks a lot to the respect that you all have, because there are utilities out there that we wouldn't let anybody run on our computers.
Yeah.
But with CleanMyMac, it's like, I feel safe running this, and I feel like I'll actually get some benefit out of it.
Right. Yeah, that's like a lot of the feedback we've been getting about CleanMyMac too, just being here. I'm very excited about that. This idea that you can worry less about your Mac staying up to date when it comes to like storage, when it comes to having unused apps cluttering your computer. Like, CleanMyMac is here for that, automating a lot of these tedious processes, running in the background so you don't need to worry about it. And also part of why we're here, speaking of CleanMyMac, is CleanMyMac Business. Like, we decided that this has been so popular among our consumers. What if there was a way to translate this for smaller, medium-sized enterprises? A lot of these enterprises that don't necessarily have the technology provided to them to support their small and medium-sized fleets. So now, what we've been focusing on this conference and we unveiled this week is having a business solution of CleanMyMac to help empower those types of enterprises. So we're excited about that too.
Now, I don't want to get too geeky on you here,
Okay.
but I'm intrigued because corporate security and corporate use is a lot different than personal use.
Yeah.
So how much did CleanMyMac have to be modified to accommodate the demands of corporate IT?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of like considerations when it comes to that. Luckily, like in general, CleanMyMac, we have certifications. We're like ISO certified. I'd have to check the exact license number for certification, Apple compliant. So a lot of these things, and I don't want to get too into like the business aspects of this, but a lot of it did translate to the IT lens. But at the same time, we had to obviously make general adjustments to make sure we're fulfilling security, to make sure people's data is safe, and that's all built into to CleanMyMac. And when it comes to CleanMyMac Business, a lot of this is about it being complementary to a lot of existing management services that a lot of companies are already using. So if a company is using Jamf to manage all of their fleet, we can run alongside that, and we can focus more on the maintenance and the administration and help complement those bigger systems, while also providing an additional layer of security through our Moonlock engine, which is all about malware protection, cybersecurity, and making sure that people's Macs stay safe.
And it's interesting to hear you describe it, because I think of Jamf as a mobile device management, and they don't really focus on maintenance.
Yeah.
There's a lot of security involved about not letting people in.
Yeah.
But what's going on inside the machine that needs to be maintained, the cruft cleaned out, the cache is emptied and all.
Yeah.
That's not something they really address. You, on the other hand, do exactly that.
Yeah. Jamf could do that, and it has a lot of the capabilities. It's just not their priority, which makes sense. They have a broad prescription, and they're dealing with so many different things when it comes to management. Our service, yeah, we are able to prioritize that, and we have proven 16 years of experience doing this since MacPaw has existed and since CleanMyMac has existed. We have that validation, and we can focus and prioritize the things you mentioned: cleanup, maintenance, administration.
And you have the reputation for delivering and not doing things you shouldn't do, but being reliable as well.
This is true. Yeah, we have that reputation. We get a lot of positive feedback from our users, a lot of really interesting case studies, user feedback, things that we know have proven that we can deliver on what people are looking for.
So if you don't mind me asking, so how is your licensing structured as far as those corporate products? I mean, is it done by seat? Is it done by time? Is it done by machines?
So the specific license requirements, it's all based, yes, on number of the number of computers within a fleet. So it's built on this structure, and then the pricing is adjusted accordingly. I don't have all of the information on specific numbers,
right.
But we can definitely provide that as a follow-up to this interview, and we can share with you our website, like, MacPaw.com, which is starting to list all of the different options when it comes to subscriptions. But yeah, a short answer, it's based on the number of Macs within your fleet.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that we have listeners that are in corporate IT,
Yeah.
and they would love to have a solution like CleanMyMac for some of the maintenance that, again, some of the MDMs don't necessarily do or don't prioritize. I like that's a great phrase. They don't prioritize it.
Yeah.
It might be there, but it's not the reason for their existence.
Exactly. Like, we know Jamf can do a lot of the things that we're doing, but Jamf can do a lot of things. A lot of these big companies can do a lot of things. But sometimes a company needs a reassurance that these boxes are checked and that, Mac admins are knowing that the computers within their fleet are having these basic services provided. We were just at JNUC a couple of months ago, and we spoke to a lot of Mac admins at JNUC who were coming to us, especially from places like school districts, who aren't necessarily the most techie kind of admins. They don't necessarily, kind of like me, I don't consider myself the most techie person. And these are the types of individuals who are coming, and they're given the responsibility to maintain their Mac fleets. And sure, Jamf is a feature, but these are things that are expensive. A lot of these school districts are not necessarily going to provide them the resources for. CleanMyMac is that, in a sense, an alternative. It gives them exactly what they need to make sure that they're paying attention to whether it be their students' computers, their teachers' computers, and giving them those basic functionality that they require to keep things, clean and maintained.
Yeah. And there's, with no disrespect intended to any of the education system,
Yeah.
their focus is not necessarily IT.
This is true.
So it helps to have something like CleanMyMac, and especially a corporate product that can touch on a lot of these things that right now probably are being largely ignored.
Yeah, this is very true. A lot of industries we're seeing that don't necessarily have the money to invest into these bigger management systems. We see it within, I mentioned education, but we also see it within healthcare. We've had people come speak to us who work in hospitals when it comes to these types of administration needs. So yeah, it's not the only industry, and not every industry can necessarily afford to have those types of capabilities. Yeah, this is a problem.
So anything going on with SetApp or any of the other services, or are they just rolling along like they have been as essential services that we all should look at?
Yeah, we have, obviously CleanMyMac Business is one of our biggest updates, but another thing that we are unveiling and starting to discuss now, when it gets more into the setup context, is we are in the process of releasing a new virtual assistant of our own. The name of this assistant is Eney, spelled E-N-E-Y. And really what the focus of a virtual assistant like this, we've had so many individuals come to us, they love SetApp. They love that the SetApp, the App Store is so easy to navigate. It guides them to the types of apps that they need, so they don't need to necessarily worry about, what app fits their need. But what we keep seeing time and time again is that people have so many apps. Like app fatigue is a thing. People are exhausted. I'm tired of like going around across like different places and realizing like I go to stores and it's like, do you have our app? It's getting exhausting. Actually, if you watch the TV show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I love this show. They just had an episode in their season finale. The main character literally almost dies because he doesn't have the right apps to unlock his car. So like it's an issue. People are exhausted. We're trying to build something based on, our 16 years of experience that helps people navigate the app ecosystem so they don't get lost in it. And that's kind of what the goal is with Eney, a better assistant that is based on proactively responding to users. It's not something like Siri where I'm like, hey, I don't want to say, there goes our book. I don't want to say, hey Siri, and then she's probably on right now listening to us as we speak, and then get a web page of results. I want a virtual assistant who I can ask a question and they give me the functionality regardless. Like they give me exactly what I need and they help me process what I need to do. Something a bit more efficient in that regard.
I love that, and I would not have thought of that myself, but yeah, an app fatigue is a good word.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I mean, and everyone is trying to incent you to use their app.
Yeah.
And sometimes it adds value, and sometimes maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just does one thing, and if you want to do that thing, then you got to get their app.
Yeah.
So the idea that you could maybe bypass that, or at least steer me in the right direction, is a really nice idea.
That's exactly the goal of what we're thinking of here. And it's also about having more apps collaborate with MacPaw, with our set app library, because what, the long-term goal here is when someone needs a specific functionality, converting PDFs, screenshots, all these different functionalities, what Eney will be able to do is take the functionality from an app and provide it to the user without the user necessarily needing to download a whole new app onto their phone for that individual functionality. So that's kind of like what we see long-term vision. And a lot of our own products fit into that framework as well. Like CleanMyMac, perhaps a user doesn't need the full functionality of CleanMyMac, but they need a certain aspect of what we provide through our dashboard. And so Eney would be able to guide that functionality and, in a sense, pull it out of the application instead of having to have the user take the whole application onto their, Mac themselves.
We could go on for a long time, but I know the booth is busy. You've got people that want to talk to you. The best website or sites to go to for everything?
Definitely MacPaw.com. It's going to have all of the information and guide you to all the different things that we're talking about. Right now, we're featuring things like CleanMyMac Business. We're going to start rolling out more about Eney, about our virtual assistant. We're still in the early stages here, but MacPaw.com is the go-to place for all of these different types of things.
Garrett, thank you so much for the time. It's great to meet you, and congratulations at being at CES.
Thank you so much. We're really excited, and we hope to keep coming.
If you do, we'll be back to see you.
That would be great. We love your outlet. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, we hope to see you again soon.
Folks, more from CES in Las Vegas. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.